How to create an ideal life. That's not too tall of an order, right? I can handle that in like one 15-minute YouTube video. Well, I started thinking about that. I started thinking about how do you help someone else to create an ideal life, especially because we all have different goals and dreams and desires. And I started thinking about should I talk to one specific audience? But I think today, really, I just want to focus on pretty much anyone who has ambition that wants to get a little bit closer to their goal of having a dream life. Talk about the difference between having dreams and goals and vision boards and what works and what doesn't work, and really break down the idea of figuring out what you want versus what you need and how does that all tie together, and how do you get yourself closer from where you are now to where you're going to be. So part of that is really, understanding like why does this even matter? Why does it matter if we are taking steps to get closer to what we want? I know that sounds very obvious and silly to even think about, but no matter where you are in life right now, maybe it's where you want to be, maybe it's totally not where you want to be, and you're doing everything you can to get out of your current situation. The thing is, if you believe and you know that there is a way to be able to change things, that things can get better, then you have hope. So, if nothing else, I want to give you hope that no matter where you are on this path, you can get to a better place. And there's going to be peaks and valleys in life. There's going to be hard moments for all of us, no matter where we are, no matter how much money or where we are in the world or how great things have been, there's going to be valleys. So, knowing how to get to the next peak and when you are on that peak, how to keep going and getting that momentum and being able to really just keep building, that's what this is all about, really. And if you watch to the end, well, I'm not gonna wait till the end to give you some super sneaky tip that's number 10 and you could just fast forward anyways. I don't know why everybody thinks that no one's gonna fast forward. We've all figured out how to fast forward a YouTube video. But if you watch till the end, then you will have a thorough understanding and context for what I'm teaching here and how you could use this in your own life. And if nothing else, you can say, "Hey, I completed something." Unlike New Year's resolutions where everybody starts something and then they don't complete it. My New Year's resolution, I'm gonna go to the gym, like, every day. Yeah, like, every day, twice. Oh, I'm also not going to eat chocolate, like, at all, like, all next year, no chocolate. This yeah, it's before midnight. It's okay. Mm, I can't believe I'm going a whole year without chocolate, but I'm gonna do it, right? I'm gonna do it. Creating your ideal life. So what does this mean? A lot of people might be thinking, "Oh, it's about dreaming. It's about dreaming about everything you could possibly want and putting that onto a vision board and a dream board." And after all, everyone's always saying dream big, never stop dreaming. It's in our society, it's in our culture to use this term, this word, dream. But words really matter because they shift your thoughts, your perspective, and your thoughts and your perspective create your reality. So when you think about the word dreams, when it comes to your goals and what you want in your ideal life, the problem with that is that where does dreaming happen? In bed, right? When you dream, that is not real. Like if you have a scary dream, everyone says, "Oh, it's okay. It was just a dream. It wasn't real." So you don't want to associate what you truly want in your ideal life in reality as something that's not real, that's just a dream. So, put away your dream board making glue sticks and your scissors and just hold off on making these dream boards. And instead, change your perspective. You have to change your perspective in order to change, it into a reality instead of a dream. So what really does build your ideal life when it comes to, any sort of vision boards, any sort of goal setting? First, really there's these main components. So you have to have, your vision, right? So you have to have the ideas of what you truly want. And then you break those down into goals. Then from the goals, you can have these goals, you can write a whole list of goals. And if you don't ever take any actions, well, then nothing is going to happen. They can be a great to do list of goals that never get done. So then from those actions, you have to be tracking them. Are you actually keeping track of what you want? So let's say you have a weight loss goal. Do you know where you're starting at and where you're trying to get to and where you are at all along the way? So anything that you're trying to measure, I mean, there's a saying, it's that which gets measured improves. That which is measured and reported improves exponentially. So reported means, really tracking whatever your goal is. If that's weight loss, if that's muscle gain, if that's upping your credit, keeping track of it, actually looking at your credit scores on a daily basis, which is not fun when you have a bad credit score. But if you're trying to build it and then you keep getting it and you keep seeing that number increase, then you're going to start having rushes of dopamine, feeling good, feeling like, oh my gosh, I can actually reach my goal. So it's important to track it and measure and know where you're at in your journey. And then once you actually do get to those areas of like accomplishment, to celebrate it, to have appreciation, to track that and appreciating it in a like an appreciation journal, or having a practice that every morning you take note of the things that you're appreciative for that you have, and the things that you want to have, to be appreciative that you're on your path to get to it. So this is part of the whole process in building your ideal life. The classic question that a lot of people like to ask is, what do you want? Well, first of all, we have to break down, let me move my little camera over here, what you want and need. So there's wants would might be something that's nice to have, a desire or a lust. So maybe you just really want the newest headphones, the newest computer, things that like you don't necessarily need. Maybe it's the fancy lighting for your YouTube videos if you're a YouTuber. Maybe it's clothing, you can just, or like jewelry, perfumes, things that it's not a need, but you just desire it and you lust after it. Or it can even be, soul fulfillment. It can be a higher thing. And when you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that's what the top here is. When you get to the top, that is like doing anything that's more soul fulfilling, more reaching your highest potential. And when you're on the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's more just like the physiological, the biological, the things that are over here in the need category. The things like I need to have food and shelter. I need to be able to pay my bills in order to have that shelter. And as you go up this hierarchy of needs, it moves into things that are less just basic, like just I gotta stay alive. I always think of it as that you're in a pool and you're drowning. If you don't have enough food, you don't know if you can pay rent. If you don't know if your car is going to make it to work, or you're in some sort of situation like that, you're on a very different level, and it's more like being under the water. And as you raise up and you can take a deep breath and you can make decisions clearly, and you're no longer just like fighting to survive, then you can start thinking about things that are a little bit more about, am I really happy in my job or what I'm doing with my time? And, maybe working on yourself and your personal development. And am I the best human being that I can be? Am I showing up in my family and to my friends the best way that I can? Or do I have things I need to work on? You're not necessarily thinking about that when you're just trying to survive, even though some would argue that might be the most important time, because fixing your mindset can really make big differences on getting out of that survival mode. But understanding basically that there's wants and there's needs. So moving on from that, we have vision and goals. So vision is more like the thoughts that you're having. You're picturing that house that's your dream house, or you're picturing that dream car. Maybe it's a travel destination, whatever it is that you're really having this vision of, this imagination. And you need to give yourself time to just sit and ponder on it. Just look off into the distance, have some quiet time. Maybe it's a long drive, to be able to have that vision. And then the goals are the part where it's more like the actions that you're taking. We have like the little calendar over here for tracking. We have the chart graph, the person running, because it's like action. What are you going to actually do to get to that vision and thoughts, imagination part? Because a lot of people get stuck just wanting and wishing and hoping, and they don't actually take the action to get there. So, with this, you have to think about what is inside your control. What is it that you have the ability to make decisions on? So, learning and building skills to get you to, let's say, you want a higher paying job. So, or you don't maybe want a job at all. Maybe you want to be an entrepreneur and open your own business, and you want to just, keep building on your skills. So, that's something that, I've been doing over the past several years. I went to college and everything I learned in college really has not necessarily helped me for what has actually truly made me money. I appreciate it. There's a great, amount of things that happen in college. However, the things that have really truly been able to make me money, I've learned mostly through like YouTube, some books, who I surround myself with, and just getting out there and doing it, just building on my skills, learning how to use different software and things. Now, you might be desiring an entirely different kind of life than that, but the more that you can learn and build skills, that's going to really help you to get to these higher paying jobs if that's something you want. I mean, learning and building can be for like how you interact in the world. It can be learning how to be a better husband or wife, or how to handle your parents, things like that. Um, and then next is just taking time. So really carving out time, because that's the biggest thing. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, right? All of the people who've been massively successful in the course of history, the people we talk about, I mean, they all had the same 24 hours. It's how we spend them that's different. It's the decisions we make that really say whether or not we're going to get further in life or we're going to stay exactly where we are. So you have to carve out the time in order to get to the things that you want. So deciding with those 24 hours, what can I delegate? What can I cut out? What can I do faster? What can I just not do? All of those things in order to know that, hey, what's the one thing I can do today to get closer to my goal? And with that, you have to be able to set boundaries, expectations. You have to create habits. So, someone recently said to me, habits are decisions that have been automated. I love that. I think that's beautiful. Back when I was doing my fine art stuff, I had a hard time finding the time to do my art, even though time was the exact same as it is today. It has not changed. But what I did was I set a boundary and said, "This is my day for making art." So every Wednesday from this time to this time, that is my day for art. Everything else is just off limits. So you have to do that with whatever it is that you either are really passionate about and you really want to follow through with and have more of in your life. Maybe it's a hobby, or if you're trying to build a business, just deciding I'm going to build these boundaries. I'm going to have expectations of myself, of others, of deciding I'm not going to let drama take away from what I truly want in life. If I know that certain people are in my world and they keep bringing more drama in, and I'm getting distracted, how much my mind space is being taken up by the drama, and therefore I'm not able to create beautiful things. I'm not able to build a business because I'm busy dealing with fighting with someone. Like, you have to prioritize what you value. And if you value this creation of a life, an ideal life, more than the drama, then I think it's pretty clear what you have to do there. Next, recognizing what is outside of your control. So, things like winning the lottery, like that is something that drives me crazy when people talk about, like, oh, well, when I win the lottery, I'm going to do XYZ. And it's like, well, that's great, but you can't really control that other than the fact that you bought a ticket. And yes, you can argue that if you don't buy a ticket, then you're definitely not going to win. But to rely on that in order to have the things that you want in life is just really irresponsible and childish. So really, you cannot control these sorts of things, but you can control finding a way to be able to make more money in order to have the things you do with that winning of the lottery. So, make your own luck, make your own winning because you won a higher paying job or way to make money. And other people, that's something that you can't control. You can't control what they say, what they do, what they think of you, how they're going to handle things. The more that you grow and get older, the more you just realize you just really can't control them. So you do the best that you can do. You put out the good into the world and hope that they're going to be good as well. But at the end of the day, you cannot control that. That's just something that's outside your control, as well as the weather or physics and the laws of nature. Like, you're not going to change gravity. You might be able to figure out how to, build a rocket and fight gravity, but let's just like not focus on the things that are not going to be helpful for us. Sound good? So coming back to the original, vision, goals, actions, tracking, celebration, appreciation. These are the key steps in order to really get to that ideal life. And creating a vision board that actually works. So I really just don't like the ones that people take the magazine clippings and they cut them out and then they they glue them on or paste them on. And some people don't like that. I don't like that. But I'm a fine artist. What can I say? I'm a snob. Um, the thing is, you can make a vision board that looks really aesthetically pleasing, and that's great. But that's not really what matters. What really matters is it working? Is it actually going to change your mind and influence your decisions? And there are some key things that you can do to actually have it psychologically, subconsciously affecting the choices that you make and leading you in the direction of where you're truly trying to go towards that ideal life. When you understand how neurology works, how your brain works, how habits and decisions and the chemicals and the hormones in your body are all affecting your decision making, and you realize it's a very complicated puzzle, but it is a puzzle that can be figured out. You realize that there is a way to create a vision board that truly works. Have one that it's in my course about how to create a vision board. That even on your phone you can access your vision board, because the thing is we're all looking at our phones all the time. So that's going to affect us so much more than a poster board that might be in your office, and maybe you look at it every day, but knowing that it's actually getting into your mind and it's something that you look at every day, and it has to be changed enough, because if your brain starts to see the same thing over and over, it will eventually basically categorize it as not as important. So you'll stop really looking at that vision board. So you have to be refreshing it and using some different methods that I teach. Is that the end of my slideshow? It is the end of my slideshow. Okay, let's go back to regular camera. So take some time right after this video while it's all fresh to just close your eyes and picture what you want. Think about what you need, think about what you want, break down these things, because needs are just as important in picturing your ideal life, and categorize these out. Have the vision, have the thoughts, have the meditative moments of just picturing from the moment you wake up till when you go to bed. How do you want your day to look? How do you want your week to look? Create that vision and then start putting words to it. Put it on paper. Create goals based around that vision, and then create actions based on that, and then create tracking based on that. So put these things on the calendar, create some form of like, here's where I am now, and here's where I want to be, and here's how I can pick some specific measurable things. Is it a number that can help me know if I've gotten there? How will you know when you've gotten to that goal? And some things might be more ethereal. It might be hard to really nail down. Like, I want to feel happy. Well, how will you know when you feel happy? I don't know. Maybe you laugh more throughout the day. Maybe you smile more throughout the day. How will you know when you have a better relationship with someone? Well, put some very specific, clear things that let you know when you're having a better relationship. Maybe it's fighting less, it's having more date nights. So there could be all sorts of goals. It doesn't have to be just the usual weight loss and making money and things like that. And then, celebrate the wins. Something that Ben and I love to do is go out to dinner whenever we have a big win. That's just something we love to do. And that's not going to be for everybody, but find your thing, your way, that's like acknowledging, hey, I just did something awesome. And I recommend, if it's weight loss, don't celebrate with a dessert. That's something that they say not to do. But an appreciation practice, build that in. I love doing that every morning. I just, take about 10 minutes to really track that. And I have a whole section of my course that talks about how to specifically build that appreciation practice. There's very specific wording and ways to do it that I find very effective. I've done it now for years. I I'm just so happy that when I'm looking back on my goals throughout this year, that even though I have had some of the highest highs and lowest lows, that I have still checked off so many of those things, so many of the things that I wanted, I did get. And that's why I feel like I even am qualified whatsoever to make this video, because it has worked over the past several years. It continues to work. I know that it will, if you actually put some time in to truly get clear on your vision, set those goals, set the actions, do the tracking, celebrate and appreciate it. So if you would like to get more clarity, very super specific clarity on how to break down the different categories, as well as how to really create the visual part of it, to instead of doing like a poster board version, how to create the phone version, how to put it on your screensaver and into I use Evernote. It's a really great way to be able to track your vision board, and it's not the stereotypical way of using a poster board, but it's actually going to be much more effective for your psychology and really getting into your brain. I have a whole course for that. It's the link will be down below. Comment below what you want, what you need, what your goals are. So I'm thinking about sharing my list of what I got this year. Is anybody interested in that? If you are, let me know. I did a listing of saying, the beginning of my course saying, here's all the things I want. So now it's like, well, I can go back and be like, here's the proof in the pudding. Here's all the things I did get. And the biggest thing I've realized with how I get things, because I do use the word manifestation. I know a lot of people get very upset about the idea of manifesting, but I think it's setting intention and kind of it's telling the universe this is what I want, or God, or whatever you want to call it. But it's not just like set it and forget it, just like they'll take care of it. The universe has got it. It's a mix of really putting out your intention into the world as well as taking actions. And that to me is what manifestation really is. But the funny thing is it it doesn't come the way that some people think it will. It's not like I want a car. Oh, I look out in the driveway, there's my car. And that's why people like to say like manifesting doesn't work. It's like, yeah, because that's not what I mean, at least when I say it. But the thing is, the things I want, I don't always get it when exactly I want it. It's usually about a half a year to another year later. So if I want it within the year, it's typically the next year. So I don't know, it's got a lag time. And it's not always exactly what I meant. And sometimes it makes me laugh because I'm like, okay, yeah, that's kind of what I asked for, but not really. Like, okay, let me get more clear, universe, because you didn't hear me. Let me tell you what I really want. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. Any Spice Girl fans here? All right, this has gone long enough. I think you guys are good. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you found this has worked for you, that'd be awesome to hear. So share with me. Maybe come back next year and be like, oh my gosh, it totally worked. Now I have everything I want. Cheers to you. If you're watching this in the new year, cheers to that. And if you are watching this throughout the rest of the year, then yeah, anytime you want. It can be the day to pick out your goals and start tracking. It doesn't have to be New Year's Day. Oh, it's still before midnight. It's okay. It's just a cake pop. There's just one little cake pop. It's okay. Just one little cake pop. Happy New Year's.